So I can send it for that. I'm not.
April 9th or next time.
Second Tuesday.
Second Tuesday of the month, second Tuesday.
I have another here.
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 Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going.
Yes. April 9th.
How many's around, so everybody will have it. This is what?
That's the early.
Early, okay. Unless you want to send that stuff to you, that's what I think they send on stuff. Okay, so, you'll take all these.
There's some things we need to talk about. I feel like I got mine looks like a whole email. It's a whole different process. That's what I'm gonna clarify.
Well, they built on it, there's some type of struggle, we just, we thought it was the easiest thing is just.
Some of them make
Enjoyed the nice weather.
Oh, I will.
Don't worry, you can't.
Just take one pass. This I need you to sign by your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than I'm used to.
I've got more stuff.
That's why I thought
Sorry, we were late.
This is mine.
Sign up, you're so
It's not, you guys are the only ones that drink the water. But I'll tell you, I would say six different things today and drop those. Okay. You know, you're going to double. That's what I was meaning, that I would say, even though I was saying something, I'm like, okay. Like, oh my God.
So are there meetings? He's in Austria.
So the shortest meeting I've ever had since I started running it was last month when Andy had to cover for me. Like, I'm not sure what that's about. I'm there, I never usually work on these, but theirs started at 6. And I've been there again.
So the answer is yes.
Yeah, we have been on a roll.
And they are adding just as much as you guys are, which means in your team.
No, this is not. All it is. These papers, the county just. Even though I left it up, it's just, it's already been done and approved, you guys already approved this, so. It's still signed up for something, so. I don't know, you even need to address it. It's just basically approving the annual report, that's what it's about. They broke down, they do that, even though if you guys don't approve it, submit it.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I was going to get told this
You know, for-
I'm here.
I don't know, I don't know. They just find out. Like the revenue detail, this.
You guys have already approved it in your meeting.
Yeah, we approved it, yeah.
But the sign.
Just sign it, just sign it.
Still behind.
Yeah. We're on the actual passage. That's on the agenda. Water rates. And that might be everything.
Yeah, okay, let's go ahead and open up the public hearing. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and open up the public hearing on the, water rate increase. Wait, I- Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
Don't hurry.
No, because we'll just make the.
It's a
Yes.
Steve Brogan,
Here.
the Walters.
Here.
Randy Hurley, here, Tom Roberts.
Here.
And Adam Jones.
Okay, so this is the meeting before the meeting, basically just a public hearing regarding, plan on introducing ordinance 2024-02. It is regarding a 4-year water rate increase. To give some context for people that are here, the current rate is $3.51. The proposed rate will be $3.65 for the first 15,000 gallons. That's per 1,000 gallons, excuse me. And by the time we get to the end of this ordinance, the rate will go from $3.65 to $4.27. That's by 2028. So it's a minimal gradual increase. So is there any public comment, questions? Anyone for or against?
Is this the wastewater stuff?
No, it's just drinking water.
Drinking water.
So this is the proposed rate increases that we were given through Baker Tilly's analysis of where we need to be to stay profitable. Well, stay in the black. In the
Cover the water.
Yeah, cover our expenses.
And Scott is here from Baker Tilly. If
Yes,
there's any
happy to-
questions.
Answer any questions or address any concerns.
But if there's not any directly related to just the ordinance in general, then we will close the hearing and then we can actually discuss it within the meeting.
Make a motion to close the meeting. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting is closed, and now the other meeting started.
Mm-hmm. Randy Hurley.
Here.
Tom Roberts.
Here.
Bill Walters.
Here.
Steve Brogan.
Here.
Adam Jones.
It's down towards the bottom. Yeah. Okay, Steve, you,
Stand stand for the pledge, invocation, please.
Prayer first.
please.
Dear Lord, we thank you for overseeing our meeting. We ask you for your blessings. Pray, Lord, for directions and guidance. Pray, Lord, that the decisions made tonight and in the future would be those that would cause our community to grow and cause it to become a better place for our descendants. In your name we pray.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
and justice for all.
Let's just roll call.
You said
You
here.
jumped around, you did it for,
You did roll call.
roll call sign.
I was gonna say, I got it right here.
I'm just,
Yeah.
Listen to your.
We'll let you say that.
yeah, okay, sorry. We need to, everyone received a copy of the February minutes today. Assuming people had time to review, can I get a motion to approve the February 12th regular meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion to pass the regular minutes from February 12th.
Second,
I second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the special meeting on the same date, minutes were sent around.
I'll make a motion to pass this February 15th special meeting minutes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Steve, you were at the abstain.
Oh, that's right, I wasn't there for the special.
Okay.
Everybody else was.
Let's do the claim docket and, well, just all the financial reports. in general.
I'll make a motion to pass the claim docket.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed or any questions?
So I had a question again, it's like, what, the 20, we moved over for the TIF, that was the 25,000 there. I just seen it, that's just moving it over from the redevelopment commission into the, right?
It's from the 67 quarter tip.
But it goes into the
Into the
general. so
general
that we-
fund.
Okay, well, it
So
just
we
goes
can
in,
spend
that, but the claim docket, that's why I say that number. I was looking at the bottom like last month and this month, it's like, okay, wait a minute, that's 25, and wait a minute,
Because we
that's
did
Cherokee
that,
County
and-
again.
yeah,
But it comes out and then it goes back into the.
right. So it was received, yeah.
I don't have it. I don't know what you're looking at me for. I don't have it.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, pass that down after you sign, so I can remember. You already approved the claim docket. Yeah, they do. Tom,
Where's the,
he was the second.
you know, financial?
Yeah, I was
You
first.
got it?
And
Okay.
I second
You
it.
second. Yeah, so I'll come after you guys. signatures.
Anything else in there? I think we're good.
Financial reports, you get to review, you get the claim docket, your monthly report.
Audit.
Well, I was getting to that because that, I just consider that part of the departmental reports, so I did this first. Okay, so I think we're good with the financial stuff. We move on to departmental reports and start with regional waste.
So the updates are, I scheduled with Hudson Rental to have the 2 portable toilets dropped off at Schellenberger. They will be there April the 1st and go through November. And they will be serviced once a month or once a week through that time period. We can change the dates if we want to at any point in time, and then the bills will be coming
What would they quote you on
at
that?
$130 per unit.
And how many we get? 2? Okay.
And then Amy also graciously scheduled the dates for the dumpsters for both April and I believe for the weekends that we had discussed before. So those are scheduled as well.
Anything else?
That's it.
What are those, what were those? I have to go back and look, because I just, yeah. Well, we'll put it out, I'll put it out there. So
Okay.
I'll put it-
Is there another agenda?
Here, we'll pass them down. Steve.
Okay.
Here's one. Daniel, one.
You gave me one.
Okay, Bill might be one.
Bill's got one here too.
I got one.
Did you get one, Tom, and Jim?
Mine, yeah, mine's a little bit out, she added some stuff. Yeah, there's more on it than what I have. Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, are you good with
Sanitation,
ready
and
for
water.
water streets? Okay.
All right. The reason I ran out is because I asked, Dan and Brad and I started meeting on Friday, and Steve, to talk about how things are going. And I asked them to give me a monthly report on the things they worked on, just to give us an idea of the things they actually do. See, and I'm not gonna go through this every month, and I'm not gonna go through it tonight. Okay? But I'll give you an idea. Let's see. Replace new electric boards for new town hall. Change spoiler on truck. Replace starter, install truck. Repair hydrant. Install Foley cameras. Relocated the sheds behind the old town hall. Filled in potholes. Water shut off. Plowed snow. So it just, they're busy. And if anybody would love to have a copy of this, I can provide it after the meeting, and I'll give it to the board members for sure when we're done with this, so you guys get an idea. But we've made a list of things they're working on, and so they're very active right now. If we wouldn't mind, I'd like to make a motion to hire the part-time person formally as of effective retroactively to.
And the only question I have before you guys approve that, was that contemplated in the salary ordinance, or do we have to amend the salary ordinance? Okay, when I saw that, that's the only thing I wanted to make sure.
We have
We've got it in there.
for a part-time maintenance person.
So retroactively to March 4th. I'd like to make a motion to hire Dennis Halter to work part-time, up to 32 hours a week.
Was it 30? Was it 32?
Up to 32.
I second the motion.
This being time for discussion, the only thing I wanted to bring up is I'm a bit concerned on the up to 32 hours. That's only if, because there's other bullet points here, there's only if we decide to move forward with that mowing contractor, parts of it. I worry about absorbing 32 hours of part-time help and.
Well, but that's just, it's up to 32 hours, so.
That can be limited.
Okay.
So
That's the maximum,
react based on that.
and that's what we have budgeted. is the max.
Yes, I don't disagree.
I'm not saying we should spend all that.
Okay. All right, all in favor of hiring Dennis for up to 32 hours?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Water, anything else, the rate ordinance, might as well do it, since we're in water, is that okay? So I'd like to, we have to introduce that tonight, is that
It's
correct?
already been introduced.
This should be
What
a
had-
Well,
second.
it
We
was
did, we
introduced.
introduced it.
This is the second
This is
We
adoption,
actually-
so it's retro and it kicks in for April.
We had to introduce it
Yes.
and then have the public hearing, and now we can do
We
the
can
next
just-
two steps.
Yeah, because the proposal is for April rates.
Yeah.
So
We have
Because I have to get it to Keystone to get it put in.
I make the motion, we adopt ordinance 2024-02, water ordinance.
you get a second?
I'll second it.
Probably should roll call.
It is an ordinance.
Bill Walters,
Yes.
Steve Rogan,
Yes.
Randy Hurley,
Yes.
Tom Roberts.
Yes,
And Adam Jones.
Yes.
trying to think if there's anything else.
So say, is there anything else you can knock off the bottom? That's where you
Yeah.
got, you're using the ones at the top.
You want to talk about the
You want to
mowing
talk about the
contract?
mowing?
Yeah. let's
Yeah, we
just
should
get
do
that.
It's your streets, you gotta get it one way or the
So I
other.
got two quotes. One was from Jackson Landscape, and the other one was Jake Crew.
Crew. I got the one. I think.
And, yeah, well, that's the only one we need to deal with this
J.
year.
Crew?
Yeah.
Okay, this is the one I got.
Jackson, it was the first time that he's quoted something like that. and he ended up being double, really, what J. Crew quoted. So, and I had him do piecemeal, because I thought, we're not exactly sure that we want to just have them mow everything. And with the part-time person being hired, my thinking was, maybe we could consider having them mow the farther away places, so the more difficult places, like the Shell Barker Park and the railroad track
Railroad tracks, yeah.
area.
Oh,
The,
yeah, that won't tear up our numbers.
right, the water utility, Brad said immediately, he says, no reason for them to mow that. For one, they're going to let it go to Bale, most of it. And then the concern with Splash Pad Park is that there's times that they actually, during the summer, they have to mow really early because of the crowd that comes in. And so, and sometimes they have to mow twice in a week. So they were really concerned about them diving in and starting to do the Splash Pad Park. And that is the closest to the lawnmowers. You know, easiest one for them to continue doing.
Take long.
Where else? Oh, the other one was Heroes Way.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess they could pick up that one on the way to the water.
Mhm.
So not that big a deal. So one of the ones I thought reasonably this year we'd consider is Shovel Barker and the railroad. Does anybody, what is everybody else is thinking on? Or, and we may not decide to do it, you know.
I was in on that discussion, I would agree, those two for sure. And Amy hit on a big one, that railroad thing. I mean, that's a nasty one for us to be going. We're just asking for damage to our.
Let me add to that railroad one before we get too far into it. We actually have a contract with a railroad company, but they pay us $2,000 a year. If we have them mow every other week, the railroad, that is less than $2,000 a year. So basically, that's a free.
Yeah,
Railroad's
yeah,
paying for it.
good.
I just had one question that came up, and I did it, you know what, I did it for a little while, so I did it at 24, and I did it at 30. I did it at 24 mows, and I did it at 32 mows, depending on weather going up and down, so we're looking between $16,000 and $21,000. And we just brought Dennis in and going that, and an issue was brought up to me about how the guys got so much comp time and work in the park. Can we alternate the part-time guy and eliminate some of the comp time going him using it at the park? If we were to take the mowing away, I'm just throwing it out on the table. If that came away, and then the dedicated person besides the other two, we put the 3 in rotation, and no one's working every weekend, and they shouldn't work every
Okay.
weekend.
The weekend work basically is setting up things for the splash pad for events. For when somebody rents the pavilion, there's really not any setup. They don't have to come out. But if someone rents bounce houses, they have to be set up. Well, we discussed in the park board meeting that the part-time workers that we pay can set up and tear down bounce houses that are, and they're already at the pad. They're already at the pad working. The parties are during the time they are working, so there's no reason they
So
can't
then
do
if
it.
we
So
did
that-
still, we
that's
could take-
your overtime
you
in
still
summer.
have
That's
that
where that
rotation
overtime
to where
comes in.
Brad and Dan, and they have a full weekend off. They don't get called. I mean, if we're hiring Dennis and he can do the testing and the opening of the water, the next weekend's no, and those two are gone. We don't need to call them. If something goes down, they're in rotation. Now our guys got off, we're not adding up so much comp time, everybody coming in and working on the weekend
And
plus
that's
all.
exact- And a lot of it was the party setup and the testing the water. Now Brad, has to test the water plant every day. So but that's not overtime because he leaves early
That's
on
either
Friday.
that's already put into
And
play.
that's already put into play, so.
I just wanted to throw that out
The
there.
big
because that's-
events though, it's all hands on deck.
I'm sorry?
The big events.
There is.
So Memorial Day weekend, the July 4th celebration and the Fall Festival, basically, they're going to be there. It's the regular weekends that they were always going.
But
they
we
were
only need
always
to bring
at.
in
They don't
extras
have
for
to
the
be there.
big ones that then we can
Right.
cover the rest of the years. We only have, what, 3 big events a year?
Well, yeah,
We're actually
basically
bringing
the
in
July
extra, then we need
Independence
extra people.
Day and the Fall Festival.
That's what I mean. The rest of them, the other 3 could rotate and handle out, and we should be good if we take this off of their plate. That was just, I mean, that's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
what I see.
Because the
Because we
overtime
have-
wasn't for mowing. The overtime that they were getting for weekends was basically party setup.
Well,
That's what it was.
Well, and.
Setting them
that
up and
was-
tearing them
That's what
down.
I was told, and then the other was, I've always, somebody's gotta be here, I want, I can't get too far away. Well, if you got three of them, I don't know why that we can't do a rotation, and you're on call, and the other two take off, go enjoy your family. We've got it.
And the setup and tear down of the bounce houses can be done by two people. We're the park board suggesting that we are going to have a video made of the right way to do it, and the new workers, the part-time people who are hired at the splash pad will be trained on how to put them up, how to take them down, how to wheel them into storage.
I feel better that you said two people, because I was really worried that.
Yeah, there will need to be two people. Now, I don't know how the splash pad gets scheduled, because I think we only had one, but on weekends, I don't know. So somebody may have to come in.
Well, if at minimum, they only have to worry about one weekend every 3 weeks. That is significantly better than where it's at now, which is basically on call 24/7.
Yeah.
Now, I will say that I'm not sure that we cannot go, we'd have to, almost always have to have one of them on call. If there's something that happens at the water pad, at the splash pad, poop incident, let's say, and they
Shut the
shut it
drain, shut
down,
down.
redrain it, everything, it's
I
almost
think
like.
that's a special circumstance, they could be called in for that.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it works smoothly, then they just have to be, one of them just needs to be around town.
But again, once every 3 weeks.
Yeah.
My next question was, where are you at with budget wise on that, as far as the streets in the garage, or what was you looking at there? Both water and streets, or
Say that again?
paying for this out of, how did
Oh,
you?
It's already set up.
It's all out of the streets, you have appropriation enough out of the street and their money?
He's paid out of street. Street and
Is it, that's what, I mean, I know how we did, we
It's
used
on the
to,
south.
Paid out of water.
we used to divvy it up.
There's no water.
I've been going a while.
That's-
We did last time.
It was whatever was on the salary ordinance,
Well,
is how it was set up. If it's not set up that way.
I mean, there's not water work that you'll be doing.
Yeah, there is, part-time. If they go around and they're hanging tags, that's water work.
Okay,
He does, when they have shut-offs, if they have very many shut-offs,
Yeah, that's what we
they're
did,
hanging
that's what we did
tags.
last time, they're on,
Yeah.
that's why we
Yeah,
divvied it
I
up,
take it
we
back.
took portions.
Yeah, part-time seasonal is water, MVH, and stormwater,
It's
actually.
not seasonal, though, is it? You'd be full-time. part-time.
Well, that, we called it seasonal in there, because park coordinator. No, that is nope, wrong one, sorry. Part-time, general, MVH, and water is what he said. Those three, he's divided.
So back to the mowing.
Yeah,
I didn't really calc.
so
If we had them do shovel worker every week for 26 weeks, typically, I don't know which our mowing season would have been, 24.
I did 24 and 32, 16 to 21,000 is what you're looking at, I mean, depending on whether we have a wet, July and August tells you what happens. We mow once in July, or do we mow 4 times, depending on rain,
that's
is where you get.
$310.
Well, we do. Yeah, but the railroad, I was thinking we just do every other week. So
I
it'd be a
kind of did it when I looked back.
13 week. It's a 13-week mowing season.
But Shellwater Park weekly, you have to have the shade. That-
Definitely.
So it's
Always
18,
gonna grow.
it's 1820 for the year. That's why I came up with less than 2,000 for the railroad. For the 13-week mow.
That's
And
no
the shovel
brainer, we gotta do the rib have.
170.
Times 26, 4,400.
I would just throw wildflower seeds up there and let wildflowers grow down the railroad.
So $6,240 for those two.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. Then, getting back on track, I will look for a motion to approve J. Crew mowing the railroad solar area bi-weekly and Shellwater Park weekly for a total of,
Let's say
Tell me the areas.
say not to
again.
exceed $6,500,
Not
yeah.
to exceed.
Tell me the areas again.
down the railroad and the solar lot and field,
Over lot.
the the entirety of the lot over there. 'Cause that-
Across from here, okay.
yeah, that thing will absolutely beat you to death. I'm glad that they're doing that.
Solar lot, railroad, and what was it?
Shellbark.
Shellbark. But- So the railroad and solar is every other week. And Shellbark Park is weekly.
Will solar work every other week? Or is that gonna get too complicated?
Well,
Trees are covered.
well, I'm talking about the land outside of the,
Oh, around the outside.
yeah. Brad is supposed to spray inside the fence, just to knock all that down.
So
Oh,
if
you're
we're
meaning
going on the
outside.
outside, we may
No.
want to do it.
Yeah.
You're right, but
mowing
Jennifer
outside-
do the outside around the, like our town sign there.
Yeah, we don't want anybody in there. I mean,
Oh,
No.
yeah, that's a lot of rock.
That's what I was asking. So on the outside, you may be at a once a week. Probably.
But two,
I
what was it?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
Just
Not-
individually, then we can actually mow that.
I guess we could go out more, it's not that far.
every other week, yeah.
I don't think we were mowing it every other week when we were doing it. Maybe we were around the proper triangle area.
Yeah.
But the
That's what I
road.
was thinking.
So we'll just say we will do it as needed in between mowings.
Yeah.
Okay, motions for.
Motion to approve.
Yes.
Second.
Second,
First, who was second?
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
We will get back to the top here in a minute.
Okay, any else for
Um,
or water and streets? Before you leave that? I don't think so.
Water. and
Stormwater excess.
Stormwater was
Excess funds?
Yeah, excess.
Yeah.
Oh, you brought it up, we're gonna go ahead and do it since.
Let's just, yeah, I mean, it's time.
So,
Time is time.
The stormwater excess funds we're still working on. We communicated with the state, the SRF fund people, and we had to reconcile the amount spent and everything. We actually think we ended up with more money to spend than we thought we did. We think, but we haven't. Yeah.
One.
Just the pause.
Then we found out that there's a couple things we have to do before we move forward. So one of them is to
You
do
want
it
that? That's what that
a
is.
public, we have to do a public notice saying we intend on spending the remaining funds on this list of items. And we have to put it in the paper saying that.
Is that because it breaks from the original plan?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then we have to give them formal quotes and things like that to move forward with that list.
All right.
And so we're still working on it. We sent it to them like we said we were last time. However, they just kind of sat on it for a long time. So, and then Darren Wells went on vacation last week, so. But anyway, we're on track. It's still gonna happen as far as I know. We haven't got it formally approved yet.
I can do the public notice now,
Right.
and then whoever's gonna get the quotes on, I don't know.
I've already worked on that.
You've already got most of
Yeah.
the quotes.
Everybody's been piecemealed out, so, yeah, we're ready to go on that. So that takes care of that. Want to do the solar rebate thing while we're here?
No, let's get back to the top.
Okay. I just
Cut him
want, that
off.
was what I gotta do, so I can go home and watch some football. Basketball.
Okay, please.
Nothing. James didn't have anything. I don't see Curtis here, so no, everything was good. I did not get a report from the police. I don't know if anybody did. I did not see it, if they did, and I've been on the road, so that's not
I
fair.
do know a deer hit a truck.
On the police video?
Yeah.
Okay, as of this
That's
morning.
all I know, but everything's been filed with
Wasn't this
insurance.
morning, it was yesterday when I talked to you, because I hit the road yesterday afternoon, was on the road all day today, so, no, I've got nothing, and I had no emails for it.
That's the only thing I
I
know.
want to talk about the incident a little bit, just,
The one, the shooting,
yeah.
we had an officer face a situation I hope no officer ever has to face, but it did, it happened in our small town, I mean, the guy, it was a normal traffic stop, but he had warrants, he jumped, he shot, and we all were locked down for 24 hours. I mean, I was coming back from Indianapolis, I couldn't imagine what I drove back into, but no, I know some people thought that it was excessive, but you have 1,700 people here in town. I think the police department did an excellent job. Every street I turned down had somebody on it. Wasn't there. They were just making sure who was out and about until they found it. They found the guy the next morning, and it ended peacefully. Nobody, I mean, it wasn't so peaceful. It had to be certain things done, and he injured himself on the way out of the car, but everybody survived. And police officer, I'm doing a fire territory with him. I mean, he did a great job. I don't know if I could have done that good a job after being shot at, but he did a remarkable job. Did he not? You were there. He did. I was shocked.
Got this composure.
He did. He had it all
You wouldn't
together.
have known if you didn't know.
You didn't, yeah, you wouldn't have known it. So he did. I mean, we take it for granted, but every once in a while it shows up right in your face. They did it honest. But they did a great job.
The only thing I would ask is, and maybe you already know this, is that there would be some sort of review after that has been happened.
There
They
is,
look at what happened.
there
what
is,
they
when
do right, what
it
they do
comes
wrong.
in, once it went down, it did happen to Delville. So once being Delville happened to Delville, county sheriff was brought in. County sheriff took over the scene because Delville was involved that night. And then the state police are doing the investigation and will give the follow-up report of where, if any, what needs to be done, improvements, mistakes, whatever was done in this is it's two outside sources, it's not being done in-house. So we will have a full report from both of them once it gets up.
It just seemed like an excellent job to me.
They did a great job. They did a great job. But other than that, that's all I have, sir.
Planning and zoning?
We have two things we wanted to make recommendations to the board. Recommendation to the board to replat the Del Harper area. And they're dividing it up into different lots. Don't have that paper anymore. But we want to make a recommendation to allow that to happen, so they can sell on different parts of that area.
Those will be a commercial lot.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll look for a motion that we approve their recommendation.
I said move. We were on the board, it was unanimous on the planning and zoning.
I second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye. All right, and then the other one is ordinance number 2024-03. With the gas stations now having to get approval.
That was recommended, up that we do approve that as well, and we would be introducing that ordinance, would we not, at the first reading, so this would be an introduction.
The introduction was at the planning and zoning, you guys are actually the adoption.
We can do the adoption. Do we need to wait it, or just from that meeting?
No. You're just not into this one. You're
And
good.
I'm good on voting for that, being like I made the recommendation for the ordinance.
Okay, you get
And
that.
this is stuff that happens in the town comes from one of you guys.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 2024-02.
Three. Change to three.
Change to 3, sorry. Let me go there. Sorry, I didn't get the change.
I second.
Okay, go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Would you explain that we have the two gas stations that are
Ye-
grandfathered
yes.
in?
Yes, so,
Yeah. They don't have to
We
like
have the schedule.
Yeah.
The first reading actually happened with the planning and zoning. Second reading is you guys, so,
Unless they can, okay.
yep, so
They're not
this one you're actually good,
This
it's
is
one of
just-
those unique ones,
They're just,
just adopting,
Adopting.
the recommendation, yep.
okay. Good. Any questions on any of that?
You want me to-
Yes, well, the one I was really worried about, she's good, she understands, so.
I was so advised that we're already in.
Yes.
Your grandson.
This
Yeah.
doesn't.
Correct.
Yes, grandfather.
I hate to go back and tell them, you guys aren't gonna be the first one.
No.
Yeah.
Their grandfather again, the one with the corner 32 and Washington.
Yeah. Okay, anything else, Kristen?
I don't think we had to discuss that with you guys. The KRG properties, about sending a notice to
Oh,
them,
The
about
cleanup.
cleaning
The
up,
cleanup,
Yeah.
clean up, and then
Has to be done.
us cleaning it up.
okay. Parks? I know you guys had your meeting, what, yesterday?
yeah. We basically discussed our eclipse happening, April 8th. We're having an event at the park. Lots of different things, starting at 12, running 12 to 5. Just there'll be lots of activities. And we discussed, we're getting the grants, what grants she's going after for funding equipment for Shellbarger Park. And we talked about the dog fence relocation. You guys are going to talk about that anyway. And we approved a naming policy. Trina had gone to a conference, and most places have naming policies. So let's say someone graciously gives us $15,000 to rehab the playground at Shellbarger Park, then the playground would be named for whatever period that we decide. It's doable, 5 years would be named Pilot Park or whatever it is. So we approved doing that, and that's it, I think. I mean, we did other discussions, but
So that would be like you said, like pilot playground at Shellbarger Park.
right, and then if they decided, right, yeah.
Okay.
So and then let's say after 5 years, playground needed an upgrade or something, we could go to them and say, hey, you still want to name this, throw some money and we will continue to name it. It was just a way to keep the funding. We did talk about, the place in the park plan. I think you guys all saw this before. Nothing's really changed, except we suggest putting the dog park over here so that the fountain that's included in the dog park could be hooked up to the main, and they could have water inside the dog park.
It's right along that, where those pine trees are.
It's a little bit farther toward the road.
Yeah,
Close to it, so.
yes.
And I think that's it, is that? is there- Other than we talked,
Just that, looking at adding some things to the park, like, cornhole.
yeah, that's
Permanent
on here.
cornhole. kind of
Cornhole, horseshoes, a
Horseshoe.
gaga ball pit, and then resurfacing the basketball court.
thing. And a lot more, picnic tables.
Yes, more picnic tables. And eventually getting a restroom unit that's, so we don't have to keep doing porta potties. That's more of a, like the state parks have. That's,
There was a concern about it was my idea was to get the playground under shade trees, but there's concern there because it's gonna be much more expensive to get that done. Trees have to be trimmed away up and everything else. And then my wife mentioned to me that, those trees are dropping stuff all the time. It would not be a good place. It's real dirty. They're cottonwoods and sycamores.
Yeah.
And they're just horrible. They're just trashy trees. So best to leave it where it is. And then we talked to Brad and Dan about maybe moving those railroad ties out of there. Because that's been an issue. They're forever having to go back and put those tie nails back in, big old thing, spikes, basically is what they are. So the kids can impale themselves in the spikes.
one more thing is, we do need to advertise for part-time help at the splash pad. That's something that needs to go out. How many are we going to hire? How we want to go about doing that and all that. So
Maybe we hired you.
I don't remember.
3.
Three.
Someone says 3.
So I figure we got something out to the school, even in the school announcements. That would be a start. I don't know that we have anybody that wants to come back, but most of them have moved on.
We did last year do an incremental thing. If somebody returned, then we'd give them a little pay bump for the next year.
That we could do that.
So if they return, we'd give them a little pay bump.
Is that it in part?
I believe so.
Okay. I'm going to jump around just a little bit.
Did we talk about the dog park? We didn't talk about that. It's on the agenda.
If you want to, you're jumping down into the board items there, you want to do that?
Mhm.
You know, I had Top
Since it's part of
Fence,
the park.
you know, I had Top Fence come out and give us an estimate on moving the dog park to Shaw Park. And they're, to move the fence was, and use as much of it as they could, it was gonna be, and I gotta find it, I think it was $8,300. All new would have been 11,000 something. And they would put it basically wherever we wanted to put it, at the Shaw Barker Park. The reason for moving it is it's just been a real pain to have it there because it's kind of counterproductive with the splash pad. $1,800. And so to have dogs park when you don't want them at the park.
Because the problem is with dogs near the splash pad and get into.
They walk them through the splash pad, think it's no big deal, and then the dog might do some things.
And then
And then you shut
you have
down
to
the
drain
water.
the entire
Yeah.
Yeah.
house.
I mean, and we have
Dirty
basically
dog.
signs at all the parks saying no dogs allowed. And
But it would reduce. that.
dog traffic, which I think the dog park is great, but the idea is to move it down to Shell Barker.
And would they move everything, the structures, the fountain, or is that just?
Yeah, I don't know, I think they'll move the fence, that's what they're
It doesn't
doing.
say there's structures down there and then there's the fountain.
Well, we would move those,
Okay,
and then the fountain could be used, it's not hooked up.
right, yeah, fountain. We could-
That's why we wanted it closer to the
mhm.
fountain at Shell Barker Park. So, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I can make a motion, that we do that for $200.
I've got just one question. We did that under the Department of Tourism grant. Can we move that?
I would think so. I mean, that's.
Well, I just remember when I submitted it in the plan, it was for the park, and then the signage was the other part. So I put it because it was a community park. That's where we got, remember, we got the, I think it was the umbrellas, the dog park, and the signs. And it all had to do with the park. I don't know, it may not have anything to do. I just know that's where we.
We still use it, it's still at a park.
I know, I didn't say, I'm not saying that, I just said when
Yeah,
I
we're gonna
submitted, I
work-
submitted it at that park with, you know, the signs and this and that.
I don't
just know that was a tourism grant, if I remember right, that we got, I think it was $50,000 tourism grant. I can't remember when it was, I just remember it was an Okra grant. And
Is there a timeline on those?
Okra, I don't know.
Because eventually the things have to be replaced.
I know, I agree, I just didn't know if there was or not.
We actually got it for the downtown here originally, and then that lasted.
Right, we had, we changed
You
plans
juggled things to get it
very
done.
quickly and got approved, and that's what I said, that's, I just remember having to go through that. Now, you remember now, it's just like, I think
We could check the grant.
I think I would
out.
give a phone call
Yeah,
and just make sure that we're getting there, there's no,
so we could make this contingent
Yes.
on that.
yeah, I would just make
How do
sure
we
that
find
you,
out?
yeah, they're good with it.
Ask somebody that knows about other grants?
That would be Okra, it was the Okra Department of Tourism grant, I guarantee you, it was, whoever's running the Department of Tourism right now, that was the Okra grant that we got.
Probably find
For
somebody
sign.
to check.
Anybody's still there. Working different.
Person Hudgens is still there, I don't know about the rest of them, but I know she's still there.
Are they taking the old post out, just cutting them off the ground level, or?
I think they're gonna take them out, they can't reuse them.
I knew you said they couldn't reuse them, I just didn't know what the extent of
They'll take them out.
what they were gonna do.
Or if they don't, then Brad will. I think they'll love to get it back up.
Come straight up. Okay, no, that's all I have.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the expenditure of up to $8,200 for the removal and moving of dog park fencing, present location to Shaw Barker Park.
You get a second?
Contingent upon.
Contingent upon
That's what he was
approval of the
finishing saying.
grant.
I second that.
I have a question. Can I know where the funds would be coming out of?
Got it?
Contingent on.
Okay. So we've got a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right.
There's another one. Real quick. The cemetery fence. Do we want, I had Top Fence.
It's not on the agenda.
I didn't have enough room to put it on. So it was,
Two-pager agenda.
I had to give us an estimate on removing most of the cemetery fence. Now, this is just my personal viewpoint, because I just think that they way overdid the fence for the cemetery. And then someone made a comment, why don't we just take it down and leave the back border between the two properties, between our park and that? And not worry about, because the $4,500 cost to actually make it a smaller area is not worth it to me. But if you took it down, that would be fine too.
But we don't own the property. It's not our property.
It's fine with the township, maybe.
But do we need to move the fence if we're not,
Yeah.
nobody's putting
We don't have
anything there
anybody, okay,
to use it?
but it's, okay. That's
I'm just
your opinion.
asking.
So, I mean, that may be everybody's opinion.
Yeah.
I just think it looks way over.
It is over, I agree, but the former trustee just did the entire property line is what they did.
This might be. So
But anyway,
so we
that-
can leave it the way it is and not deal with it.
But it does look overdone, I agree that would be nice.
When we table that, when they give us all a chance to look at it, I mean,
Yeah.
you're seeing different, if you're gonna move the dog park, let's look at it after we get the dog park out, let's look at it.
The idea-
Let's see what that looks like and what the area looks like after we take it.
Yeah, the idea would be to make it available for other things, like big
Exactly.
tables or something like that.
And I understand what you mean, on their side of the trail, you could set up over there.
Yeah.
I like the idea, but I said, let's take out the dog park, we can get a
Like
chance to
part of
look at it.
that,
I agree with tabling it. I will say I'm not on board with getting rid of the fence completely. There needs to be a barrier between what is park ground and what is the
Trustee.
cemetery. Well,
That's the trustee's property to take care of, that's owned by the township, that's not owned by the town, that's township property.
absolutely correct. I'm not even going that far. In my mind, I'm keeping kids out of the cemetery.
Cemetery.
Right,
Yes.
to make it more, yeah,
So that,
a barrier to.
yes.
Yeah.
If we're doing that, we might as well get them to put a placard out there too, telling you what exactly is in the cemetery. I don't think people even know what's back there.
All right.
All right, where we at now?
I know that we have some people waiting,
Yeah.
so let's get to the Fuller architecture abatement.
Howdy. Hey, I'm Adam Fuller. I'm third generation. We've been here in Daleville since 1946. You probably know where my place is here on 32. It's the log with the saw blade in it. We have been growing quite a bit, and currently I employ 38 people. We're building a new 15,000 square foot building where I plan to have initially another 7, but there could be up to another 15 people there. I don't know, what else would you guys like to ask me?
Well, in a little bit, I'll give a little, I was gonna jump in and give a little feedback for you stuff, but that's okay, I mean, it's fine. You all know where it's at, cash and carry, doing business as Fuller Architect. The building they're proposing is cost of improvement, self-improvement, $850, no, wait a minute. Yeah, it's building, $850,000 for the finishing sanding shop and $161,943.71 for the warehouse improvement. That's in the building side of it. They're also putting out equipment in the equipment side of it. We are looking at, sorry, I'm going back and forth here, $1,124,636.30. So about $2.2 million worth of improvements down there. He's filled out the paperwork. They've been in business since 1977, or 77 years, since 1947. They have worked with the commissioners. We got the ground behind them. They've extended the lot for the deal and what they needed. We worked with them on that. What they're asking for is a tax abatement on that improvement. Ran the numbers with Brad Baker Tilly going through on a 10-year tax abatement. That's phased in 100, 95, 80, 65, 50, 40, 30, 20. Bottom line, the numbers that you need that are important in that 10-year period, they would get, the town would see they would see a tax savings of $101,920, and we would receive $103,980 over that same 10-year period. So it's basically giving them a break on the tax abatement for the building and the equipment together. Did I miss anything there?
I don't think so.
Okay, and I would ask Danielle if she would, I'm sorry,
To capture what they did.
yes.
So I spoke with Brad too, just to clarify. I think the TIF is getting really close, and that's part of what I have on my list to talk about today. But by the time that tax abatement rolls around, your TIF is gonna be in place and expanded for both of those areas. So you'll be able to capture that.
It doesn't start because the building has to be built and the assessed value has to go in before it
12
starts.
to 18
So,
months.
I'm sorry,
12 to 18 months.
yeah, 12 to 18 months, so they can get it in. So we'll be in plenty of time.
There seemed to be, there was two of them, two proposals when I looked at it. It seemed
On-
like there was one that.
Oh,
was-
tax abatement?
Yeah,
There was a 5-year and a 10-year.
yeah.
The-
Which one are you proposing, the 10-year or the 5-year? That's what I,
Going through the deal, I'm proposing the 10-year. I laid the 10-year at, the 5-year was just, it's half of what the deal is, 5-year going down. In the building, well, there's two of them. You gotta go two together, and I apologize, I said that wrong. The two together, when you add the building and the equipment together, so let's do the 5-year first, is town would be 144,000 and 72,000 combined. And the state tax abatement would be 61,000 and 42,000. So 100,000 in tax savings, 220,000 on the other side. On the 10-year abatement, it's 103 in on the building plus 45, so you're at 148, and 101 and 69, 170 to Fuller Architect on the 10-year.
What was the tax for Fuller on the 10-year?
Their portion of savings would be 103 and 45, so that would be 148. Ours 101 and 69.
So the 10 years, basically, 50/50
It's
split.
almost, yeah, to me, that's why I went with it, and I would propose it 10 years, because it's a wash, it's basically a split down the middle. And they're making an investment at 38 going up, if the assessed value goes up, it's a win-win for both sides. It helps them get off the ground, plus it brings in revenue to the town.
and there's no reason you want to find instead of 10.
I prefer the 10.
And I will, these information, they have graciously stayed in Delaware County. If that was an option that they had, me and Brad have worked with them. We've been in his office 3 or 4 times over the
At
last
least.
2 or 3 years. So there was courtship going on, and we maintained, and I think this is where Fuller, and they made a commitment to stay here. I'd like to make sure we make a commitment to keep them here.
Not only that, they made this,
They built this,
and they did
a wonderful job.
less than cost.
Was there anything that I missed there?
No, I was asked about capturing ahead of the TIF being finalized, but we're gonna be well ahead of when this is actually
When this is
realized,
done.
so.
So with that said, I would ask for a motion to approve the 10-year tax abatement for Fuller Architect.
Second.
Discussion?
Does this have any special advertising or anything like that with this kind of thing? Or we're good with
This is straight up to us right here. This is it, one deal, one time, 2 tax abatements.
Okay,
That's, we're the executive board.
So you motioned it?
Motioned it, we've got a second. We're in discussion, we already got a second. We're in discussion right now. Yes,
You
call for the
seconded.
vote.
No, I didn't.
I thought you asked for a
I didn't-
second.
We
I did ask
asking
for a
for a
second.
second.
I thought he did.
Oh, I thought you said
I did too.
Okay, you seconded it.
I seconded.
Okay, got it.
I'm first, she's second.
I just gotta know.
Now you're.
Yeah, is there any discussion?
10-year
Okay.
tax.
So I think it's no brainer, give
Let's
them
roll
10
call
years.
to that.
There you go, roll call.
Tom Roberts,
Yes.
Randy Hurley,
Yes.
Bill Walters,
Yes.
Steve Rogan,
Absolutely.
Adam Jones.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Fuller, we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry. I didn't
You're
say
more than
second
welcome
on
to
the
stay,
question.
but you don't have to sit through all the rest of it.
Thank you.
Okay, where are we at? Let's get ADA and Title VI update.
I don't think we have one. Well, we do. She's filling her paper.
Is the update no update?
Yes.
Dr. Scott.
Yeah. Just basically, we're doing paperwork to get our representative.
Okay, we have 5 minutes.
There you go. What we have to-
Next, 12 bullets.
We'll say
Okay.
you don't want me to talk, right?
Cause she's got
There was
another
there's
little.
nothing on here for attorney.
Well, okay, that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's just start at the
45,
top.
she's got-
The ARP solar update, in this case,
Yes.
we're not discussing production or anything like that. What we're talking about is the status of the rebate.
Yes, and it's been technically filed. The IRS is not processing yet. They are going to do a full desk audit. They earned it on everyone that submits a federal tax rebate on this. And there's some other hoops we have to do, so I'm not looking that we're gonna get money until the end of this calendar year. But it's gonna happen. It's just gonna take some time. So
And that's 30% of the original for.
I think we're talking about $120,000 right in there.
Oh, boy.
So.
Okay. Steve, grocery store updating.
I'll just abbreviate it. There is some active discussions going on with Harvest. And I'm working with Bill on this and gathering some information that I'm gonna get to him from them in terms of what their needs are, what their present expenses are and such. We're looking at the property here on Catacor. That is part of the redevelopment commission. So that's why Bill's working with that. And I just got a text today and she said, send the request to this email address and we'll get it to you as quickly as we can. So that's where we're at. We're gonna get a grocery store.
It's just discussions.
Yeah.
And when you guys say it's just discussions right now.
Right.
We're just now getting started.
Part of it is we don't know if there's enough room here for what they want. And so that's the big piece. We gotta find that out. Parking and footprint.
Got it. So, stream monitoring contract.
I got news on this one. No, finally, she got through. We were both hitting different, I was hitting an old line and an old email. Finally, she got a hold of him, Crystal DeVore, still at Centec. The issue we have and why we're still doing this is called honeysuckle and canary grass. That is the two things that are inhibiting and why we're still going through the monitor with the state. We had a several discussion or a long discussion. She's going to do site visits. She thinks that we can be done with this year or next year at the latest. This is Brad and Dan's second year of taking care of cleaning it up, doing it. They know what to do. That's monitored in there. She'll schedule the site visits. And Brad, I've talked with him and there's somebody that he's talked with or around here close on the honeysuckle and the canary grass that can help us with that. And I talked to her about that. That's all doable. So bottom line, what you asked me to do, we're looking at 1 to 2 more years of this and we can eliminate the monitoring on the stream and we should be able to get the state deal because we cleaned it up and knocked it back far enough that we'll get with inside the zone and with a little bit of help this year on the honeysuckle and the canary grass, we should be good.
So they didn't mention anything about the Queen Anne's lace and the other stuff.
Those were the
Last
two,
time.
these were the two that she said were stuck out that the state was coming at, was the honeysuckle and the canary grass.
They never
And
told
both,
us.
when I mentioned it to Brad, he knew exactly what I was talking about and the locations I was talking about.
Oh, okay,
So
good.
but I also still have got her setting up site visits. I want to see exactly what she's talking about, so I know exactly what needs to come out of there, so the next one we ain't going. But she said, she assured me that Bill, that there should not be more than this year. Hopefully she can get it closed out by the end of this year, if not 1 more year. And it's the state, it's the waiting for the state to say, it's under control, you got it, then they turn it over to us.
So are we paying them then?
I have not asked for that, but I would say that with this, you guys were here, this is my first year back on the board after a hiatus of this, as soon as you went with, she sounded like she had everything covered. I talked to her for about 20 minutes. I mean, we're at $4,000, which is basically what we've been at since we started this back there on the stream. So I would look for a motion to approve this, or I would ask for a motion to
So the
approve.
$4,000 is for her to come out and monitor and tell us what we
To
need
file the
to do?
reports with the state, get all the documents, come all the way down to what it is, make sure we get approval and sign off of them, so this thing's
What was
closed.
the company again?
Santec, Stantec, that's an environmental, that's for monitoring, and I talked to, as you guys know, Cecil Finland, who we all trust and go through. I'm still working through Cecil, and he said, there's nobody better to close it out. He could give me a couple others, but he said, there's nobody better to close it out.
Okay, so I make a motion that we contract them to do this over a 2-year period. Or whatever the
What
was
was the-
$4,000.
I'm getting there, I was trying to dig where you're going to, $4,000 for the monitor.
I suppose we need to pay it out of the edit fund. So, I hate to keep hitting that, but the one-time cost.
You got a second?
Can I get a second on that?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye. You can sign this and then send it out to her. Got Tom's on there because it was still from last year, we'll still get it too.
Signing.
Stale check resolution 2024-03. This is, you just want to be able to avoid these out.
It's a yearly process. Those are the ones that never. But anyway, we just cancel them out, put them back into the general fund. We used to have to do it by the end of March, so.
I'll make a motion.
All right, can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Tom. You can sign it on there and you bring-
Before we move on now, real quick, did we settle the ordinances for the gas station, Del Harbor? Did they overpass those?
Yeah.
I didn't see the Del Harbor on my list off, so.
I just don't want to be able to.
I
Right.
think we're in the easement for Hurley's.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just, I'm getting caught up.
What's
Nope,
Well, I would like, so
There needs to be some
there
discussion.
has to be some discussion. When it was first presented to me, it was that we were doing the easement. So I asked if a survey had been done on the actual easement area, because typically your easements aren't the entire parcel, they're a strip of it for access to something. And then there were a couple of emails saying, well, actually, we thought we were maybe giving them the whole parcel back. Also fine, but I wanted to make sure, one, I'm doing what you guys wanted, two, that you understand it's two totally separate processes. So there is not a statute regarding easements, which then makes it fall back on the home run rule and you can do what you want to do. So municipalities do them all the time. You don't have to go through any process to do them since there aren't statutory requirements to grant the easement. So we don't have to get appraisals and public hearings and all of that. The only thing you do have to do is a survey of the easement area. So we have a legal description for it. But if we are looking at actually getting that parcel back to them, that we do have to go through the public notice process, the appraisals, and then because of the way this drive comes back, are they then granting us an easement to access that road?
Exactly.
So then I, again, have to go through the easement process to get us to be able to access, the town to be able to access that road again if you give them the whole parcel.
So,
But Pat,
so talking with Brandy and David, they would do an easement and they asked them to come up with footage to come off the back line, whatever it is, and we could grant the easement. It's gonna cost about $1,800 to get that easement drawn up through the surveyor. We go the other way, you're looking at about $4,000 to $6,000 because you have to get the appraisals on the property, then go through the public hearing and go through the whole deal, all the way back around to do the
I got
exact
two
same thing.
appraisals this month for Selma, and it was $4,500 for the two. The survey was $1,800.
And in talking to Brandy and David, they just want the access to get a driveway in back there. So if they tell us it's 25 foot, 30 foot, we just need to get that number from them. It can go straight down the property line and joins into Tennessee Street, which then it stops the deal on Heroes Way and making a separate easement there. It works for both sides. And it's the path of least resistance, both for us and for them.
will we run into the zoning/ordinance issues with the driveway being right down the property?
That I am aware of, because we're granting the easement off of our property on that, so it can go right down the line.
Okay.
Just like any other.
So easements, and everything.
Yeah,
Yes.
sounds like.
No formal approval.
Yeah, I'd like, because
Well,
I
we-
need to then engage Ashton to do the survey, if
We don't know the foot, but we can go, yeah, grant the easement, and she can get us the footage, and we can get it to Sir Ashton and get it drawn up.
Okay.
That work?
And I will tell you, they told me 4 to 6 weeks last week when I asked for an update on another town.
It took me 2 months to get a survey, so I can put that
We're
in the
not
garage out
in
there.
a hurry.
Good.
So right now, we're gonna do an easement thing, and they're gonna tell us how much feet they need.
Yep.
That's where,
So we're just
Yeah, since they're gonna do the
approving.
survey.
next month.
That's my recommendation.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
So we approve it next month, so we
Yep.
know exactly what the footage is.
So wait, hang on, I want to go back, I want to make sure we're done. So what, we need a motion to approve moving forward with the easement and the survey of the property, do we not?
Yeah, go ahead and do those motions so that if I get that
I
information in
I'll
next
make the
week
motion
from
to
them,
move forward
I
with the
can
easement and the
send it off.
survey for the town, so we can properly give back, or give the easement to the Hurley, for the Hurley property.
I second.
okay. Let's do it.
I should abstain.
Yeah, so we need to do a roll call. That's exactly where I was going.
Okay.
Do I,
Second.
hang on, stop, before you go,
Tom
do I
Roberts,
need,
second.
I motion, do I need to do anything different here? Do I need, well, we're family, and in respect of the deal, she's married to my cousin, that's why I asked.
So we're gonna have, I'll make the initial motion.
I'll
Okay.
second.
I just want, it's
I'm glad you
straight,
said that.
straight full course, it is, that's why I don't want it to come back after we've done something.
And you have the right to abstain.
I'll abstain, you guys can have the vote.
Okay, so the motion is to move forward with the survey and easement of the Hurley property. And Tom is the first and Steve's the second.
Correct.
Okay, we're gonna do roll call. Okay, ready? So Steve Grogan,
Yes.
Bill Walters,
Abstain.
Tom Roberts.
Yes.
Randy Hurley,
Abstain.
and Adam Ditz.
Yes.
Good.
Next.
Okay, next, parking around Newtown Hall. I think this is the parking expansion.
Yes.
Yes.
Um,
And this is anticipation of the
Election day.
election day.
And future, it's future also.
Yeah, right,
Just
right. But
additional
that's,
we desperately need this parking anyhow. So the idea is to put in gravel between where the new sign is at and the telephone pole, which is halfway down Thin Blue Lane.
Yep.
And from Thin Blue Lane all the way, I think we should just do all the way up to the tracks.
Yeah.
Wherever our right of way.
yeah, right to the right of way, yeah.
We can kind of, edge onto that a little bit.
Yeah, it just,
Railroad.
No,
Do
officially.
they care?
They don't care as long as it's
Tuesday.
right idea.
Let's take care of
and looking at it, obviously, we don't get a whole lot of spots if they just go, I guess, what's the right? Perpendicular to Thin Blue and the railroad tracks. But if they go parallel to that and
Yeah.
and we space that out, then we have a significant amount of parking that we can put there. It's just gonna require, one, we get the gravel put down. Two, during events, we put some spray painted lines or something like that so that people have a clue as to what we want them to do. But it should add a significant number of spots. The other side of that is during the election. What that does is that allows us to have as much, if not more, parking than what we do now at the old site. So we could leave this area up here for handicap parking, the area in the back for police and poll workers, and then all of the parking over there would be for just general parking. And overall, it ends up being closer than the extended parking at the park that used to be used for election parking.
Right.
So,
And I did an inventory of parking spaces. And there's the same number of parking spaces at the old town hall around right near the building as there is here. So you have to go to the splash pad and beyond to get the additional parking spaces over there.
Yeah, so it's farther away.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is all gonna be done in-house. So the only cost is really the gravel.
so I guess we don't have a number yet on the ask.
1,200,
We have a number.
I would say take it for,
Up to
Up to-
1,500.
no, and let's go 2.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know.
We have to try to do all of
Yeah.
Up to 1,500?
2,000.
2,000?
I make a motion that we approve the graveling of the area to create more parking around the new town hall and spend up to $2,000 for the gravel.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
We think that on the MDA's on the other side, on that restricted side.
Oh, yeah.
We need to do that.
You know,
Because
we need to do that restriction.
Unrestricted we can, not restricted.
Yeah,
Restricted is basically for
That's it.
street.
Is it not coming off the Heroes Way off of that street? That's why I said, we have to,
What's coming up?
Whatever you,
I
what
know.
you need, you know what you need between restricted and unrestricted.
Ooh, that's a good idea, but I don't know if they'll
Comes right
cover
off the
gravel.
street.
I
Comes right
know
off
they'll
the
do
street.
asphalt. I know they'll do asphalt, but I don't know if they'll do gravel. They're really picky on this.
So decorative walk around the new town hall. They spend a lot of time, the guys do, weed whacking basically our grass that's out here that's encircled by cement. And they suggested that we remove the grass, put decorative rock in there and just eliminate the weed whacking. And I said, let's do it. So can I get a motion to do that? I don't know how this is gonna cost. Not very
You
much.
said, I mean,
So just a load of river.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be whatever is decorative. So it's gonna be nicer rock than gravel, than parking lot.
I mean, do we even have to approve it?
Not really.
well, you take that, out, just let it out.
Just let us know.
Take
But
that
I
street.
wanted to make sure
You're
you
just
guys were okay
notifying
with
us
the
that you're
idea.
doing it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
No,
fine.
I mean versus that, no, it's nothing to turn into weed patches, eliminate the weed patch with
Yeah.
something that does what you.
Okay,
need
so
to
we're,
do.
we don't need to.
I mean, you're eliminating a small green area, it's
Yeah, I know.
very small green area.
we good?
Looks like- yeah.
Okay, hold on, let's, I know that's gonna be a lengthy discussion, so let's get, security cameras out of the way. I had talked to most of you about this, last month. What I'm looking to do is I would like to move add to our existing camera system. Right now, it's all stored locally. It is accessible remotely, but what I would like to do is twofold. One, moving to a company called Quorum AI, and I will show you what we would get. But what it would do is, one, keep our existing system in place. We're not changing out new cameras, nothing like that. But they will put a server here in this building. Our cameras will also be recorded on that server. And we can access them and provide access to police department, the sheriff's office if needed, or share footage, things like that. It becomes very easy to do. It's all app-based or web-based, depending on what device you're connecting it to. And overall, what it does is it moves our camera system from something that is very local-centric with a few remote capabilities into something that's fully remote accessible. Included in their pricing is full warranty on all of they will warranty our cameras that we have now, present cameras. If we need to replace them, they will furnish us with new cameras. And we are completely covered from day one of their agreement with them. And it's basically a subscription. It's either a 3-year or a 5-year. They did offer a 10-year, but I don't think we should pursue that because after 5 years, technology is going to change and there will be an even better way of doing this. But I would ask that we entertain either a 3-year agreement or a 5-year agreement. The way that this system works is each person is given a login. Their login can be completely customized however they want. Cameras are accessed quickly and easily. Once you go to a camera,
The school uses this.
the school uses this.
That's the school.
Once you go to a camera, you're instantly given a live view, and that live view is also seamless with historical. So if you know the camera you want to look at and you know the date and time, you just simply plug it in. Another advantage to this system is that it has image analysis that's constantly running. I cannot show that to you because the one that I'm looking at now is a school, and so every face that's going to be on this is students. But but you can have the camera set up, happens automatically, where it will log every face that it sees, and if any time there's an incident on our property, you simply tag that face, and it will show you every time that it's happened within its storage period. It will alert you or anyone that you have that you have specified that needs to be notified. So if we have a known person who's been trespassed at the park, and they come to the park, our cameras see it, boom, you get an alert.
Like that.
It also tags license plates. So if we have a suspicious car that is known to be causing problems or whatever, it works the exact same way. Once it sees that license plate, whoever needs to be is notified. The system, that pricing is for 35 cameras. Our existing system maxes out at 32. We have a little bit of room to expand already. We're not utilizing all 32, but the intent is to also put cameras at the intersection down here to monitor not only the intersection, but also Walnut Street, and then to also put cameras on our old sign so that we can monitor further up and down Walnut Street. So that, again, if there are any issues in town and we do need to tag vehicles, we've done that, notified. It gives us a much better view. If things happen in town, or especially at the parks, we are able to track that down, not only on premises, but also as they leave on to the main road.
Are we looking to expand into Schellenberg? Because we don't have cameras there.
That is the other thing that, for me, is extremely important, is that if we do an expansion down to Schellenberg, that we need to have cameras down there as well, and they would just tie right into the system. I can tell you when we deployed this at the school, from the moment the boxes were received to the moment the system was active was about 2 hours. The onboarding is extremely easy. So that's it. Back to that. So again, the ask would be, let's say $20,000 for 3 years or $27,500 for 5 years.
Is that paid annually?
No, that is,
Upfront.
they have, well, I didn't explore it. They do 1-year agreements. But this is discounted pricing based off of multi-year commitments. And it's just a one single
What
payment.
do we pay now? I mean, what are we looking at?
We
Zero?
paid 0. That was a one-time purchase.
This would have to come out, and like I hate to say it, we'll have to go in the general fund for this. At least it's right now.
We don't have to do this. There's nothing that pushes us to do this. This is just the natural progression of our system.
Right. To me, it makes sense to do it. To me, it'd be a financial question, to do it now. And does it matter if we do it now or a year from now?
I mean, ultimately, again, we're gonna get $120,000 in sole rebate, which can be used the same basically as what the other one is.
So maybe if we're doing it, the idea is we tag that.
So it's not like we're spending, we just don't have the budget money appropriation in the general fund that we could spend that much.
Except down at it.
Yeah, that's about it.
It's about the only place that that
It's that much money.
for an appropriation, yeah.
So it's 3 years, so you're paying $6,500 a year?
No.
You're paying $19,500.
You're paying 19.5.
And then for 5 years, it was
27.4.
Wow. I mean, that is-
And from a technology standpoint, you've got a better grasp of this than I do. Is it better to look at 3 years? I mean, honestly, the 5 years, we might be running old technology.
Technology's changing every
Yeah.
2 months right now. So, yeah, I mean, I would voice my concern is 3 years would be though as far as I want to go.
Yeah.
Technology will be so fast, and the cameras are small, you
Right.
put them on a wall now and watch them, they last for hours.
Yeah.
Some of this is coming out of the water, though, right? We had a camera.
These are all our cameras, right?
Yeah.
So we can split it. I can
Absolutely.
split money. I
Yeah,
can put some of it out of water.
At least a third of the cameras are monitoring the water flow.
And I did see, the reason I grabbed, I was looking at the redevelopment commission as well, as far as economic development, security side of it. I mean, that safety is one of the aspects as far as the economic development of the town. I'm not saying, I don't know what's there, I don't know what's in that
Right.
fund. I need to look at it and see what's coming in, what all we
We
got.
have, well,
Is it in here?
Yeah, it's-
What am I missing to that?
So what are you looking
It's,
for?
the 67 corridor.
67
Cash
quarters.
fund. You don't look at the appropriation.
Look at the.
There, I
fund-
got it,
funded
okay,
for it.
gotcha.
What's in there?
70, right now, we're at beginning of balance, beginning of month, 76,820.
It's 76, yeah.
76,825.
With the draw coming in May.
There'll be a draw in May and a draw.
I mean, I'm with Dave, I would
Why
mind
don't we-
splitting it up, but I mean, I would strongly suggest nothing more than a 3-year right now to test because of technology.
Then I could take a third out of water.
Now, I was going for a little, now you wanna go for half, now you're being greedy.
No,
I wasn't going, just gonna split it up, I was going with her.
A
I,
third.
Well, he
I
said a
like to
third.
divvy it up,
I just said a third because he said a third of the cameras are water.
right,
So I was.
that's what I
going
said,
with that. That's why,
I like that.
what you guys do is what you.
So half from the water, no, a third from the water, a third from the tip, and a third from the edit money. Is what you're gonna say? Okay, I'm for that. That's fine.
That's what I said, spread the cost out and use each, I mean, we might as well use.
Now you gotta talk to the president of the redevelopment commission. I'll get the approval.
I'll have a talk, I mean, we, that's pending, you didn't make the motion pending,
Yeah.
the redevelopment commission, I have to pull the redevelopment commission together on
So
something
that's
else.
our redevelopment.
Yeah.
That's our
He's
redevelopment
the
commission, so
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
pull that
So he's good,
redevelopment
and I'm on
commission
that
together.
now. I think I'm on that.
We could actually just meet with that right now.
That's why I was rubbing my eyes. I
Yeah.
can have a conversation with himself regarding this.
So I make a motion, can we do it?
I'm still here.
Make a motion, we do a 3-year deal. Third out of water, third out of tip, and third out of the edit money. And the tip, and this is all contingent on approval through the tip.
To the redevelopment commission.
I'd say that's, Tom just made that.
Okay, say, well, why don't you just repeat that?
A third from the
I
water.
know I got that part, but I mean, you're making it, you want the subscription to be paid, the 3-year rate at 19.5K, third out of water, third out of tip, third out of edit, contingent on approval from the Delville redevelopment.
The tip.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, no one's opposed. Oh, getting close.
Here we are.
Pressure's on.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yes.
You ready?
Yep, you're
Okay.
ready.
So, I'll start with an easy one that's maybe not technically on the agenda. I wasn't sure if, when we were talking about parking, it was included in your guys' thoughts, but I was asked to do a memo regarding charging for parking at the park. And I'm not sure if I sent to everyone or if I forwarded it to you just initially for discussion.
Yeah.
So there is very little case law on parking, paid parking at the park and what the municipalities can do. But the gist of it is if you show that it is for public safety and you charge a reasonable amount, which no, there is no criteria that says what that reasonable amount is. And the one case that addresses that was so old, the amount was, next to nothing, because we're talking it was like 70 years or something. So as long as you can show those two things, which I don't think there's any doubt that this contributes to public safety, to have parking and make sure people are secured and off the roads and all of that, then you guys can charge for parking. The only criteria that the state looks at is to make sure you're not doing it just for a revenue stream. So there's your information on that. I don't know what you want to do with that, but that's what I was able to find. The only other thing you're gonna have to decide though is who's monitoring it. So when it was presented to me, you guys don't have a Board of Public Works, which is one of the places you usually look to monitor. Police department maybe aren't planning to put any extra work on them, or are, I'm not sure. You could have a zoning administrator do it, but I think you guys would have to hire one.
So we're still,
Or you
like
could
in
have a third party.
we're still like in the brainstorming
Yeah.
part of that, but what we were thinking, and Tom, I know you sent one today, I just hadn't had time to look at it, was doing it through, like a lot of the parking garages do now, where it's just all through an app. And then I'm assuming that somebody is notified once a spot becomes expired. And our splash pad workers, a significant amount of the time are not doing a whole lot. And so if they are notified that X license plate on spot number 20 is no longer paying for parking, once an hour, once every half hour, they could walk by and make sure that either that spot is vacant or filled with another car that is now paid. And if that comes out to be that it's not the case, then we could engage the police department.
Or can they ticket? Can we?
I would
Let's-
even go further, and there's systems out there where you pay for your parking and then send you a notice, says you're about to expire, we're gonna renew it unless you remove your car. Boom.
But is there like a sensor or something that
No,
shows that they removed their car? How does it get notified that they've removed their car?
They'd have to put more money in the app.
or what, the
Or
person
you
just
need
tells
to
them that they're
notify
no
that
longer
they've
there.
actually.
Yeah,
moved
so
out.
if it says we're gonna go ahead and charge your card, but we've removed the
I
car.
think we need to forward the memo to everybody, we need to have some more discussion.
Right, we did.
Well, I did
don't think
forward it to
we're ready-
everyone.
Yeah, we're ready to go into this, there's more that needs to be thought about on the other side.
And actually, everything I have left.
Yeah,
is
it makes
more-
sense to know what we're trying to do, but I think we need to dig a little bit.
I think, yeah, this is gonna be a slow burn, but we're heading in the right
That's what I'm
direction.
saying.
Everything I have is actually conversation purposes. You guys dealt with most of them that were actual approvals.
Mhm.
All right, let's look at, I gave everyone a map. I had Kyle put together preliminary maps for 67 in Old Town Junction. So John and I went through and took a first swipe at this, and then we met with Adam and Bill and did a second swipe of properties. And I went ahead and had Adam add these into the 2-TIF maps so that you guys could visualize this. I think we're at a point where I have a lot of the documents drafted. The plans for the 2-TIFs, they need a little more work, even though the basis of them is put together. So we're getting really close, but I think this is a good time to let you guys mull this over for a minute. Comment to us if, hey, what about this property? Or, we start circulating ideas if there's anything you guys think we missed so that we can figure out if it needs to go into these maps, because a lot of what I have left to finish will be dependent on whether these are the areas that you guys are good with. So this is really just FYI, here's kind of where we're at in the process. And let me know what you want to change or discuss, and we can go from there. You don't have to do it right this second, but does anyone have questions for me on?
I think we did a good job looking up and down. I would, like she said, take this month and look it over, see if there's any properties you might have questions or concerns. Let's go back and come back at it. We took you into where development would be, where the possibilities would change as laid out by our comprehensive plan of what we looked for the downtown when we did it 10 years ago. I know we're going to update it, but it's still, we kept with that same theme of those areas that we worked with and that me and Adam looked at and started to.
And there may have been some we looked at, like a couple were in floodplains that we would have had to section off the properties before they could be included, and it didn't seem like some of them were logistically going to work out. So there may be a reason why some were taken out or not on there, but I want to make sure they're not any forgotten.
You said Forest is not ours anymore.
Right, of course not. There was a group of trees that are on Tennessee and railroad track. I was just curious why that wasn't included.
Yeah, I thought that was supposed to be included, and then I just think it got overlooked.
This little triangle in here,
No.
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
that's it,
yeah.
exactly, yep.
Wait, to me, what's your?
this area right here.
Tennessee Street at the railroad track.
And it could have been Kyle, didn't add that one on there. I will
Yeah, we
double
did, we
Just-
talked about that because we even talked
I
about
remember
included the
that.
place across the sled. the small area across the street, because that road bends and it could be straightened up, there's could be something done there, and that there is a sliver on the west side of Tennessee. So we included that as well.
Pretty good. On that one.
Okay.
You don't do the same thing on the other one, basically, just look at it this month?
Yes, both of them. I say just look at them and make sure that we're good, that everybody don't see anything different, that we haven't forgotten
Can I
anything.
ask two questions on the other one, 67? There's the lots that are right at Walnut and right here. Are those, and why aren't they ours?
Which one?
So right on Walnut and 67 across from Culver's.
That area Sam Pierce.
Yeah, well.
I think those are already in a different tip.
These are in the county.
That's in the county tip, that's why it's not this.
And I'll show
Oh,
you.
where Lonnie's used to be is in the county.
No, not.
No, opposite corner.
So,
The other corner, that open corner that they're using for their equipment. stuff
Here,
when they build.
oh, that's in the county too?
Yes.
Let me show you this too. I can circulate this too. Sorry, I didn't. That is every tip area highlighted.
Overlay.
So this is already in the county quarter tip.
Bonnie's daughter. What's that? Is that?
And this is our town limit.
Yeah.
That's why, that was my next question.
That's why you don't see it out, that's why you see it, and yeah, that's why that's out there in the corner down there.
And this little bit there, what the heck is
There were some little things we found in there that were not
It looks
included.
good to me. That's weird.
I'll mail that one out too. I mean, I'm sure you guys have this, or maybe not for the new board members, so I'll make sure you can see this too, where the other tips butt up to it.
Okay,
So
That little corner right there is
I'm just gonna get.
That's the house, those are houses, remember?
Oh,
Houses right there.
is that by the apartments?
So just so you guys are aware, what we're talking about is expansion of tip zones, or taxing zones, within Daleville. This does not change. Anybody that's covered under this, your tax rate does not change at all. What it does is it just ensures that any future improvements to that property, like, so if you have bare ground and you put a building on it, that improved assessed value, the tax dollars that are associated with that would stay within Daleville and not be controlled by, say, the county. So again, no change to what your rates are, and you guys aren't affected at all. You're not affected. It's just, we're trying to ensure that any future improvement, commercial improvement, the money stays here. I mean, that's it as far as these items, correct?
agenda.
The agenda.
Yeah, I've got one thing when you open the floor up, I said that was.
Oh, wait, I wasn't done.
Oh, sorry.
Still got another one.
Sorry. Okay, the two other things that I would like a little bit more input, because I think it was just kind of preliminary talked about, but it looks like for the next meeting, you guys will be talking about sign height ordinance and lighting ordinance, which both will have to do the same process we did with the gas station. So we can make it to where instead of going before the planning and zoning every time, they can just submit their application, and we can already have pre-approved that set of rules and just amend what is currently there. But there are lots of references to sign heights and lighting things within the zoning standards. So I guess I wanted to make sure, like on the lighting, are we just dealing with the lumens? Are we talking about other elements going in there, sign height? There are references to 60 feet for a majority of the things. Are we just moving it to 100? There are different criteria of sign height. Some are 45 for, I forget how it words it, but there are several different sections. So my thought was, if you guys want to peruse that and kind of come back to me with more definitive things, I didn't want to jump the gun and change like the lumens in 60 feet to 100 feet for 2 months later us to find out, oh shoot, we should have changed this too. Now we have to go through this whole process again. It's gonna be easier just to do it at once.
I think there's a couple things that are maybe getting mixed together. I know that on signs, we'll probably really need to get into the weeds on that and obviously, we don't want tall signs within residential area. But in the current commercial area where there are existing signs, I think that we could make some changes so that we don't have to go through a process each time.
Right.
I think that's the overall plan. When you're talking about lumens, is this also a side discussion about like lighting that gets put in at, say, a residence house that is over the top?
Well, it's all part of your zoning standards, so I have to go through the same process to amend as I did the gas stations and will the signs.
Sorry, this is a long way of getting to where I'm going. When we addressed the noise ordinance, we went to, rather than something that was really subjective, we went with like a scientific decibels at a given distance, so that it fell in line with other municipalities that have done the same thing, so that you take the subjective out of it, especially what somebody else thinks is loud isn't always the case, or their hearing's different. And so the police officers were all given dB meters. I realize we can't do that with lumens, but if there is a way, or a municipality has addressed this in a way that takes subjective out of it, I would really like to go that way.
You're my first municipality to deal with the lumens and lights. I'm not sure John has had to do that either. I'll double check with him. But see what we can do. Is that the only issue, is the lumens, the lighting?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, that's the big complaint. If there's going to be a complaint, it would be the fact that X person's light is way too bright because it's encroaching on Y person's home, or
Shining
lighting
in
up
our-
their house, or whatever.
Shining in our bedroom. Is there a way you could send us the portions that are?
I hear that as well.
That would make it easier.
I made a note of it, and I
Just look at it
started,
rather than start searching through a section or whatever.
I actually started highlighting all the different sections that talk about it, which you can see there's lots of highlighted areas. So I'll throw, and a lot of those are sign related. There are not as many with lights, but there are a lot of references to signs. So I'll throw those together in Memo 2, and then you guys can mull those over as well. So I'm not trying to not get those done, I just didn't want to jump the gun and then have to do it again for you.
There's not an immediate hurry on that, is there?
No. Well, we do
Well,
have,
signs
We do have
you,
a complaint out there, right?
we can't do anything about that.
Right, but
The Quick Pick will have a Quick Pick, right?
Quick trigger.
Quick Trip. I was close. They're gonna have a sign request, and so it looks like we'll probably have to go through the standard process now, which I believe is we need to get BZA involved, review it, pass it off to planning and zoning, and then finally get there. So we'll just, to answer your question, no, we just need to go through the regular process on this current one.
well, hopefully that's the only one that we can cover around, and then by the time we can, I mean, we can circle back around to this next month or two, because there was a lot that's on the schedule for this month, so try to get through as much as possible, and as I started going through, I'm like, I don't have all the information, I think we need to get more details.
Okay, Bill, you had something?
yes. I asked you to pull off the Kaiser compensation, comprehensive plan from the agenda. Reason being is to do a little background, a little checking. What I would like to see is, I would like to engage into a low to moderate income survey. I think we still qualify, and after talks with Mike Fine Peter, I think that there's still Okra dollars we're eligible for here in town. What that would do if the survey comes back the way that I think, and there's no guarantee it will, it could come back and we're spending, it's $3,000 to find out. But it's good for 4 years, and that opens the door to Okra funding and all kinds of other grant funding. What that does is this $40,000 compensation or comprehensive plan turns into $6,000. By the size of our town, we're under 10,000, so we're eligible for $50,000. Out of that 50, we would have to, if the grant's awarded, we don't even have to pay for the grant unless we get it. If Mike does the grant for us and we don't get it on top, then we don't pay anything. He gets it, we owe $6,000 plus the administration fee on the backside, which is a good thing of working with Okra, working with somebody that's in Okra. Oh, it doesn't save us money. But it's, that income survey would be good for 4 years. It's good for 4 years. And if it didn't take all of the area, then we know the targeted areas that we can work in and we can get funding for as well. So I think it's a benefit. I don't think, unless you guys have done one that I'm not aware of, we haven't done one since before the park. I think was the last time we've done it.
$35,000.
To do the compensation. So I would like to ask this board just for me to engage Mike Klein Peter, up to $3,000 to do a low to moderate income survey to see if we can qualify for more Okra grant funding.
I'll say he just did one in Selma, and I don't think Selma's ever won any of the grants they've applied for. I won't say just here,
But
but they're far-fetched to get theirs, and he did a wonderful job, and we just got what we asked for Selma. He was great.
You guys know what I did. I mean, Mike, I've worked with Mike for many years. I give up.
Just did our work with the stormwater.
Yes, I give up my state administration license and I just do the federal. He handles all the state grants now. I handle all the federal grants for the area. So he's.
I'll make a motion to pay Mike
Second.
$3,000 up to $3,000.
$3,000.
Bill made a motion.
Yeah.
For your
Tom
second.
seconded.
All in favor?
Aye. I'll get a hold of him, I'll get it in, get him
Good
going on that.
investment.
He'll contact you,
What's- Tell me, spell his name, K-E-I-S.
Klein Peter,
Klein.
Klein Peter, Peter, not Peter, it's Peter, Klein Peter.
To do an income.
Income survey.
Okay. Steve, you got anything?
I may have thought of one more thing.
What's that?
Maybe do we miss anything?
We discussed the alley vacation. I looked into it, requested information, Dave sent it back. I have not had time to go through that, so that is one I'll make sure is ready to go. I don't even remember the street, I'm sorry.
Washington Street, yes. And the best we can come up with
On the
is
landlocked area, that
We
was Joe
decided
the
that-
alley, Joe Red's when we did the alley.
Our
Because
minutes-
we had to leave that open over there next to.
our minutes say we decided in 2015 we were not addressing it. We have it in the minutes. Because Trina
Because it
found
looked like it
everything.
was documented,
then
it was prepared.
John
but I
was,
couldn't
somebody
find
was
it.
gonna do something in 2018, but then nothing happened. There was no approval, there was nothing filed with the courthouse, so
And those were different. though.
talking to
So-
Ashton's, we're probably just gonna have to do the whole thing.
Okay, but I'll make sure I get you guys an answer on that. I just didn't have time to follow up on what you
So
were
we have to
able
do
to
the whole thing
find.
over, just Washington, just
No, just to vacate, just to do the vacate,
that one over there.
that one.
Okay,
That's
that
one
one.
street. All the rest of them were
We're
documented.
done.
In
And that was the one
2018,
we
there
knew we
was a
couldn't
lot
do
more
because
than
it's
just
landlocked.
Washington.
Well, there must have been discussion, yeah, that was the
It was
issue.
landlocked, we had to leave it.
Because then somebody wanted, because the guy was using the opening,
Stewart's.
It was-
Yes, yes.
it was a big,
We
there
could
was a
landlock
big
it.
discussion because he wanted to be able to get back there and he was using
Right.
a drive that wasn't his or something. It
So
was,
you think maybe you couldn't vacate it because it landlocked?
No, we did a vacate of a lot of different,
Purpose.
on purpose, of giving them to the property owners. But that one, because it landlocks all that area back here. If you look around that property, it's landlocked all the way around. And that old Washington Street access is the only avenue into that property. So you can't vacate it because it
Well,
has to
that might
stay,
be why it was done. They're just.
it can't be vacated
And I
because
actually
it has,
think
they have to have
Leslie
access to
started
that property.
because it was started, from what we could find, because I had Trina go through and start tearing everything up. 2015, we didn't address it, and that's probably because of the discussion. And then tried to go back in 2018, I think it switched hands and then we didn't do it.
We did that.
So maybe that's why
We-
it was not done. So maybe I
That
don't want
makes
to make it
sense.
one.
Yeah, we did this.
You guys have anything?
Elbert Street. The patch job they done on it was very unsatisfactory and it needs to be repaved.
Now,
I'm
patchwork.
gonna tell you, I would not have paid them to put that patchwork in. They didn't
Are you
fill it
taking,
all the
are
way
you
in.
talking the current, did they come back in and do it again?
No,
Okay, but they come back and looked at it and they agreed that it was not properly done. And they're going to repave it as soon as they weather turns.
Asphalt plant's open back up.
Okay.
So
I was not, I haven't heard anything, so I was just asking.
Yeah.
No, you're fine, no.
No, we went after
Yeah.
that.
Okay. Yeah.
Now,
It's
if
terrible.
they don't do, because it doesn't sound like they're doing the entire street.
Well, it needs the whole street. done.
Yeah, and so we're gonna press them on that. So,
And the only real way to do it is to grind it off and start over. The way they done it.
okay, well.
I'm sorry, I got a civil engineer in the family now. He tells me how it should have been done.
Yeah, no, we've addressed it. So-
All right, appreciate it.
Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, I'll take the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I second.
Okay.
Still going for the record here.
Usually only one figure, make sure that things.
You know,
We don't have to shower.